Okay, I'll ask the Will questions.
Yeah.
Availabilities?
I'm hoping Andrew Privet trains today. We've just had an update on him and he's not as sore as when he came off the pitch. So I'm hopeful that he's available for selection. We've got Karol Swiderski back. Liel Abada obviously goes off to Olympic duty, so he's unavailable. And that's pretty much it, to be honest.
And is Karol, are you thinking of him in a starting position in this one, or just working back into the chemistry?
He's available to start. That'll be just down to my decision whether I think he's ready to start or not.
Mm-hmm. And are you in training? Are you seeing a good chemistry?
Yeah, no, I've said before, training so far has been really good. You can't say he's not match fit because he's played in the Euros as well, so he's played minutes in there, so he's ready to start if needed.
And looking at Austin, what do you see as the major threats coming from them?
I think one of their DPs got sent off, so he's out for the game. He's he's a really good player, so it'll be a big miss for them. They have their way of playing. They'll look to press you quite high, and they'll look for their patterns and put balls, certainly lots of crosses into the box. Zardes, the centre forward, looking to try and get on the end of them as well. So we'll work on that and how we're going to defend the crosses. But again, I've always said it's 80% about us rather than the opposition.
And this will be a very different match from Columbus with just possession alone. Austin has not been a team that looks to do what Columbus does. So it'll play out differently. But now that you've had time to look back at the Columbus game, what were the things that Charlotte did right in that game, and what were things that didn't go as well?
Well, I said before after the game, it was a really interesting game for me because you can control the game two ways, with the ball and without the ball. I thought we controlled it pretty well without the ball. I said to the players before we went there, if their three centre-backs are passing to each other 300 times in a game, I'm happy. Because they're not getting between our lines, they're not hurting us. And I think we did that really well. They are a good team and they will beat your block sometimes, your mid-block. But I was really disappointed with our lack of connection. I thought we won it 5 or 6 times in the first 30 minutes and had really big chances to go and cause them big problems, but our final ball and our connection wasn't quite right, but we could have caused them real big problems. So I was fairly happy with the performance, and it's a weird game because their manager will probably have been fairly happy with the performance as well.
But they created a lot of chances that they didn't convert, so there was a bit of luck on that side.
Well, not really, because I look at the chances that they got. The one big save that Cali made was offside when he got headed down. They've had a couple of shots from angles where I would expect Cali to make saves as well. So, I think the XG in the end probably showed. Their XG was 2.1, I think, from 21 shots, which tells you that they're not big chances, whereas was 2.75, I think, from a lot less shots. So I thought we created the bigger chances in the game.
And speaking of like XG and stuff like that, you've been coaching for a long time here. Is analytics changing the game? Is it giving you a different insight? Is it making a difference?
It can make a difference for you, yeah, as long as you don't just use analytics, because out of our 2.7, I won't read too much into that, because some XG systems will give Pat's goal as 2 XGs because the first one got blocked, and then he scored the second one. For me, that's one action. Mm-hmm. It's not 2 chances, that's 1 chance. So, it can be skewed at times, so you have to be aware that that you're reading the right thing.
His composure in that situation, and in general when he's in close quarters, for a big man, he's got pretty good feet. It's kind of like a Peter Crouch. He's
got really good feet. He's showing a lot more composure now. He's finishing better. I still think his connection can get better when it comes up to him, connecting the ball better. And I still think we look to his feet too much, where you saw a massive strength of his for the goal of running in behind. And I think he gave the lad 3 yards and still ran past him. And that was with the lad had the aid of pulling his shirt back as well. So, he showed his speed as well. So he's got a bit of everything.
And that's not a foul anymore. And stuff like Iuri's shot when Patrick was open on the left there. Is that something you'll talk about in, when looking at films and stuff, like Iuri should have maybe laid the ball off to Patrick there? Or?
Yeah, I mean, if they're difficult chances, we talk to the players about creating better chances for other players and having that awareness around them. That's for the players to experience and get better at.
But goal scorers, just by nature, have to be a little selfish at times as well. They can be too unselfish sometimes. They
can. One of my sayings is, don't make a good chance better. If it's a good chance, it's a good chance. So take it. But if it's a tap in, give them a tap in. Rather than take a 50% chance. So yeah, we're working on that all the time, and they're getting better. That's for sure.
Great, thank you.
Cheers.
Sure.
With Swiderski back in the swing of the rotation, where do you see him fitting in position?
Well, I think he's a centre forward who can score goals. I think we've seen that already at the club. His technical ability is a high level. He understands the game really well. Tactically, he's really clued in as well. So if he's going to start, he'll start as a 9 for me.
Okay. Because you've got Abada out, you've got winger position open. Is that somewhere you see Tavares back? Maybe?
Yeah, possibly. He played centre forward last week against Cincy, but he came on the side on Wednesday at Columbus and did well. Had a couple of chances, had a shot, had the header, which he'll probably feel he probably just got there a little bit early for and couldn't direct it, which would have won us the game. But he's looking a threat at the moment, so yeah, he can certainly play on the side again.
Is there anybody else at winger?
Well, we've got Tiger Smalls, we've got Brett who can play on the side as well. Brandon Cambridge is on his way back. Nick Scardina has done really well for Legacy and scored a few goals as well. So we've got a few players there at the moment.
How close is Brandon? He's in full training?
Yeah, he's played quite a number of games now for the Legacy. He's in full training, so he's not far away now.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Nick. I know you talked about Brandon a decent amount this year, but just after coming off that injury at the beginning of the year for the first month and a half or so, and really in this last stretch playing the full 90s in a lot of games, just what has made him so essential to this side?
I think his legs. He's not very nice to play against. And I think that's a credit to him. He gets in and around people, he wins the ball back well for us, or he makes that forward pass not a great forward pass, so we can pick up the second ball and break on teams. And his awareness of what's on around him has certainly helped him.
And then after this game, you'll have about a month break for Leagues Cup, obviously. Only 9 regular season games left after the break. To this point, is there anything you're kind of surprised about? Has the team kind of met your expectations so far, just in reflecting on your first year in MLS and with the Charter?
No, I mean, I feel we've lost too many games. There's some games where I didn't feel we deserved to get beaten. We did, so we've left a lot of points out there, and I was saying that after 10 games. So, it's no difference after 23 we played? Yeah, 23 games. So we've certainly left some points out there, but the evolution of the team has been good, and it's been evolution rather than revolution. And I think the players are getting better. They've got a really good understanding of what we're trying to do, and we've also got some changes we can make in terms of our tactical system as well. And they've got a really good understanding of that as well.
Great, thanks.
Cheers.
You talked about Swiderski's prowess on the pitch and his IQ. I'm curious how you feel he's sort of come in and assimilated with everybody after being gone for so many months.
Yeah, I mean he's been out on loan. There was an option I think for them to turn it permanent, but they chose not to. So he's come back, but we've welcomed him back, and he's happy to come back as well. I think It's one of them situations where, you know, he wanted to go and try it out in Europe. He's had the Euros as well, but he seems really happy to be back, which I'm keen on him on being back. You know, and sometimes, as I say, some things don't work out, and you know, it hasn't worked out for him, and he looks to me now like he's got, you know, that drive and hunger to, you know, go and prove himself here again, which is really good for us.
And how, we all know what he brings to the table as far as his skill set, but how does he fit that within the system that you want to play?
Well, he's got the hunger, as I said before. He's got the brains to know how to win the ball back as well, and how we press. He was with us for the first 2 weeks in pre-season, where, you know, some of the tactical bits went into the, you know, how we're going to play this season. So he's well aware of the basics of what we do. But you know, he's really adaptable, and I like that about him. And you know, he's came in that dressing room with no ego. He's come back with no ego, and he's settled in really well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
How can you tell he has no ego? Like, what does he do?
The way he trains every day. You know, I said when I first come in, the big thing for me is culture. You know, and culture is about the behaviours of people every day and what you see. I see him come in, want to work, mixing, socialising with the other players. He's hungry to get out on the training ground and do well. You know, and they're the sort of behaviours that you want to see as a coach.
And obviously it means Patrick might not get as many minutes now. How do you want him to react to what happens from here forward?
I want both of them to be fighting for the position. That's what we've wanted, you know, since Enzo left. You know, we've been really just had the one choice with Patrick. So when Patrick comes out, you know, Iuri's gone into probably an unfamiliar position for him, but he did well. You know, but you need competition for places.
Steve,
Do you see them playing together up front?
Possibly. At times we have got a potential system change we can have where, you know, the two of them could play together, and, you know, because of the way they both play, I could see that happening.
And with the transfer season just really getting started, in that there's always a chance that, you know, Verona might come back with you know, a different bid and stuff, and other teams, having watched him in Euros because he got some significant time there, might have an interest as well. So that's always a potential distraction. Is that just part of the game?
Yeah, that's part of the game that I have no control over, so I don't worry about it. In all honesty, I just concentrate on what we have here now, and, you know, the potential upgrades we can bring into the club as well.
Have they filled you in on the whole all-star thing and stuff yet?
I've been told about it, but I have zero
don't
interest
care?
in it. No.
Everyone in the room, okay? Nikki,
Yeah, just mentioning the transfer window opening, I think as of yesterday. Is there any positions you're looking to strengthen specifically? I know you mentioned potentially bringing a 9. Does that change with Swiderski back?
Yeah, if with Karol coming back, I think it changes our mind, because we weren't sure if Karol was coming back. So he's looking at potential 9s, but we'll also look at potential attacking midfielders and wide players as well.
I've got Willie P on the Zoom, so Will.
Good morning, Dean. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Will, yourself?
I'm well. How do you rate kind of the difference in the strengths and weaknesses of Pat versus Karol in the way that it works into your system? Because they're obviously two different options when it comes to the striker, and they offer different characteristics.
They do. I'm not sure I can rate them against each other, because they are different. So you know, they both bring different strengths to the team. Yeah, so I'm glad that we've got both of them, because I think they can both be a threat to opposition, and that's what we need.
How do you ensure that it doesn't mix with the chemistry or mix with the vibe in terms of making sure that you continue to stay on this run you guys have been on?
I think that's down to my experience as a head coach. You know, what I've gone through before, how I've dealt with things before, and, you know, imparting that knowledge onto the players, and, you know, helping them deal with that.
How much of it does it help too that he is a known quantity in this league and he has marked success? Does that help him readjust better? Does that help you kind of see what he's done well and take from that as well?
Yeah, I mean, he's had 18 months in this league before I got here, maybe longer, I don't know. But he knows the league, so there's no adjustment. He knows how I work, having had a couple of weeks with me in pre-season. He knows how the club works, and he knows how the club are looking to progress. So, there's not been too much in terms of adaptation. He's just come back in and settled in.
You mentioned that Columbus, with all the center backs passing back and forth with each other, how much of a particular satisfaction do you get from seeing the frustration in an opposition like Columbus when, they're looking for passes and they can't find them?
Yeah, no, I thought our game plan was really good. Leave the middle centre back on the ball. Stop the 2-6s trying to get on the ball, especially Nagby. He's their main player who they progress the ball through. I thought we'd done that really well, and that's why I was so annoyed at half time that we hadn't had more attempts and made their goalkeeper work more with the amount of times we won the ball back. But we never lost our heads when we went a goal down as well from a mistake, and it was pleasing.
I had a question about Bill because I think he's a player who had really kind of been fighting it a little bit. I know you said that Xander's doing better, which is encouraging, but how much did Bill need that game on Wednesday night?
Yeah, I mean, Bill's been training really well. Obviously, he's not had the minutes he would have liked this season. I think he's just had the 2 starts. So, it's a credit to him, the way he came on the pitch and what he did while he was on the pitch. He came and won a few headers. He kept the ball really simple when he needed to, and then he played an assist over the top for Patrick as well. So he can be pleased with his contribution, having not had so many minutes this season. I always say and talk to the squad members who aren't getting their minutes and say it's really important that when you come on, you're ready. So, they have to train well, and that's just proof that he's been training well.
Enjoy Austin. Have some barbecue for us.
Thank you.